And I thought, will this work in All Souls or not? They'll either love it or I'll be chastised for saying such a word from the pulpit. But we'll see. A minister decided to do something a little bit different one Sunday morning. He said, today in church, I'm going to say a single word and you're going to help me preach. Whatever single word I say, I want you to sing whatever hymn comes to mind. I should have filed an man-primed for this one. So the minister shouted out, "Cross!" Immediately the congregation started singing in unison, "The Old Rugged Cross." The minister hollered out, "Grace!" And of course the congregation began singing, "Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound." The minister shouted, "Power!" The congregation sang, "There's power in the blood." The minister then shouted, "Sex!" The congregation fell silent. Everyone was shocked. They all nervously began looking around at each other. Then all of a sudden, way at the back, a little 87-year-old grandmother stood up and began singing "Precious Memories." Don't you either love it or hate it? It's kind of hard when people are wearing masks to see if they're smiling or not. One less controversial one. Did you hear about the two slices of bread who got married? All was going well until they decided to toast the bride and groom. That's a start. That's a start. We all need a smile and a laugh at the minute, and wherever we get it from, that's important. For the last little while, I've been thinking about diversity and how much diversity can bring to a community, whether that be in a church setting or whether that be in your local community. And we certainly have seen during the pandemic that it takes everyone's talents to pull together and carry out a role or raise the spirits within a community. I was walking through Lisburn the other day and I noticed a sign in a church, and it said outside, "Everyone welcome." And I wondered, really, was that the case? Was everyone welcome? It's easy to talk the talk, but it's a lot harder to walk that walk. I certainly believe here in All Souls we do. And certainly some of our more seasoned members of the congregation, shall I call them, will remember that October was always the anniversary month of this building. Indeed, last Sunday, the building would have been open 124 years. It made me think we maybe need to start planning for next year being our 125th anniversary on this site. Many years ago, when I was carrying out some research, I came across S.S. Milne's book and also our own Dr. Roger Courtney's book. And it contained the words from that opening service on the 11th of October, 1896, when the preacher was the Reverend Joseph Wood of Birmingham, Tate Lecturer at Oxford. Was anyone here then? No? You here then? No? In the morning he took his text from All Souls Are Mine from the book of Ezekiel, and he concluded his sermon with the following words: "You have dedicated this beautiful church to what is universal in religion and in the human heart by dedicating it to all souls. These walls are to bear witness to no sect, no party, no narrow exclusive creed. They are to speak for the ages to come of your faith in humanity, the faith that endows all that is human with work and sanctity. In the Church of All Souls, there is no high or no low, no superior or inferior, no destruction of classes or masses, but all one in that far brotherhood of man that Christ came to establish. You have dedicated this church to the faith that overlaps the barriers of wealth and race, of narrow convention, social prejudice, and personal dislike. This church is for no clique of the select, but for a house of all men, a house not merely for elder brothers, that they may be feasted and ruled, but a house that gives itself the privilege of welcome prodigals of humanity, with dancing and with song. This church is to lay its hands on mixed humanity and draw them all in, pouring upon them the splendours of love and light. God, keep this church faithful to its great name, to its high calling, to its universal mission. Under its benediction, may duty become more sacred and men more precious. Here may the poor and the needy, the tempted and the tried, the old and the young find a home of peace. Peace be within these walls, peace to all souls that enter here, peace to minister and peace to people. Hear their prayer, Lord, realize their hopes and establish the work of their hands. I'm always amazed that those words were 124 years ago and they still ring true to this church, to this very day. So the Reverend Wood's comments certainly have lived on. I wonder how many other churches can boast having that fine calling. And we do have a high expectation to live up to with our name, All Souls. April is normally the month that we think about diversity, but at our Synod of Munster meeting the other week, the Reverend Bridget asked how other churches in Northern Ireland were dealing with the unusual way of things at the minute. As we all know, in All Souls, we've been blessed with an excellent social media team under Linda and Alan, and with the Reverend Chris doing a great job adapting to the changes of our church and sending out weekly media blogs. Not all churches have that, so we should never forget and give thanks for those blessings that we have. Colossians 1 verses 16 and 17 reminds us that through him God created everything in the heavenly realms and on earth. He made the things we can see and the things we can't see, such as thrones and kingdoms, rulers and authorities in the unseen world. Everything was created through him and for him. He was before all else began, and it is his power that holds everything together. And those words came to mind when I did think about the diversity within our churches. As you know, I've been classed as what may be an itinerant minister, and I've been around many of our churches, as Linda. So I thought I would give you a little whistle-stop taste of the diversity you will find if you go to one of our other congregations.